Hello and welcome to TUC0's Talks. It is 2024. Cannot believe it is the start of a new year. So, very excited to be here. If you have not been to TUC0's Talks before, this is a podcast where we're going to talk about leadership. We're going to talk about some good things we've done and some things that are not so great. A lot of the times I'm going to bring on experts and we're just going to talk about what we have done and what we've learned over the years. A lot of athletes, a lot of coaches, and then some in the military profession too. So I have been retired from Air Force Special Warfare for about 3 years now, spent most of my time in education and working through those things. So all things coming, learning leadership, and we should be having a lot of fun. Today is going to be a little different. You'll see the background's different. I am actually at my house, and we're going to have an honest talk about leadership. We're going to talk about the problems that are out there, some of the things that we're going through, and then we're going to work through a little bit of mental health, making sure we're taking care of ourselves as we're leading others. It is constantly said that we lead from an overflow. And if we're not taking care of ourselves, then how in the world are we going to take care of others? So one of my big things is making sure we're taking care of ourselves physically, making sure we're getting workouts in, mentally, making sure that we're reading, making sure that we're talking to people and then spiritually as well, making sure that we are okay with ourselves. I am a Christian, so making sure that I'm going to church, making sure that I'm reading the Bible, making sure that I'm praying, making sure that I'm taking care of my spiritual side, because again, this is an outflow and an overflow. All right, we're going to jump into it. Before we do, make sure you hit the like, make sure you hit the subscribe. Reminder that all proceeds that are made from TUC0's Talks goes to Morae Classical Schools, and that we make sure that we give scholarships to kids to make sure that they can go to school and get in a great education. If you have not checked out Morae Classical Schools, make sure you go to that, moraeclassical.org, and check out that school opening in 2024. All right. So you will see over the next probably 8 to 10 episodes where we focused immediately on results of what I had learned, some bad things that I had done, and some things that people around me did very well. I've also talked to other people. We're going to continue that, but we're really going to focus in on starting this new year. Everyone's got resolutions that they're trying to do, and a lot of it now is mental health and taking care of themselves. So I want to talk a little bit about that. I want to talk about making sure that we're pushing forward and doing the right things. You know, I love college football. It is a passion of mine. I was able to play it, and it was everything to me when I was a younger kid. And one of the things that I loved was just about the teamwork, and everything was focused on the team itself. I've seen that change over the probably last 5 to 10 years, where people have been focusing on, hey, what about my career afterwards, sitting out, or being upset that they didn't get into a playoff game, and all of those things. But it was football that taught me about teamwork. Later, it became the military, and when moved into the special operations world, everything was team, where we literally gave our lives for the team. And so to see people walk away from that today is very difficult. I know it's a different time, it's a different place, and it has its own challenges. However, I think a lot of it has to do with the focus on self and not the teamwork. And so I think a little bit of that is the upbringing. I think a little bit of that is culture today. And I think a lot of that is leadership. And so leadership is taking care of people, but it's not always hearing what is right. And we think we're doing the right things for people, but I will challenge you that taking care of people is actually putting them in tough positions and leading them through them. And so when we are talking about mental health, I just want to make sure that people understand that that's not necessarily means take time off. It's not necessarily means make things easy. It means leading people through tough situations. And so that's what I want to focus when I'm talking to others and bringing others to speak in. How do we lead through tough situations? But before we get into the series, I want to get into a little bit of what I've been through, some of the things that have changed my perspective, and that have really challenged me and given me some issues. So, on the mental health side, I've had some real challenges in my career. A lot of that is because I wasn't prepared for it, and I didn't know exactly what I was getting into, and I didn't have the training and the preparation. But luckily, everywhere I've been, I've had amazing leaders. And so, 2007, where I ended up deploying and coming back and working with how I was dealing with what I saw, what I did, uh, working with other people as they were dealing with their challenges. How do I be empathetical, yet separate myself from their stories and my stories, and making sure that I'm being healthy in that way. And so it progressed on. I was able to get some help there and did go see a therapist for about 6 months, and that helped tremendously. At that time, there was much more of a stigma on mental health and a negative stigma at that, but we were trying to push through that. Luckily, I had a great leader who was able to walk me through and give me the help that I needed, and that carried me on throughout my career. The next really 13 years, dealing with issues, dealing with my own problems, and trying to deal with everything that I was going through and seeing. And so you will hear a lot from operators, from special operations, of just trying to deal with the mental side of everything. What I wasn't ready for was when I retired, as I took a lot of that information, I took it, I compartmentalized it and put it on the shelf. But when you walk away, you really have to unpack all that and you have to deal with it. And so that was how I dealt with things. It probably was not the most healthy way of dealing with it, but that's where I was and what I did. So now here I am, 2020, trying to unpack it, trying to deal with everything and working through some circumstances. It happened really end of 2022, beginning of 2023, where my mindset, I really started slowing down mentally. I was overtasked, I was overworking, I was dealing with unpacking all of that, and my mind and my processes really started shutting down. And so I had to stop what I was doing. I had to let some things go on the work side. I was actually working with Morae, and we were planning on starting a school in 2023. And I had to put that off. I had to talk to people and say, you know what, I need to take some time. And I didn't know what time it was, and no medical professional was able to tell me how much time that is. They gave ballparks and set up, but said, hey, you need to take some time off. I did that. It took me about 10 months till I was able to say, okay, I'm back. I can move. I can think clearly. My processes are working, and I'm able to get back to it. And so those are the tough things that people don't always talk about. As a leader, what is it that is your job when you're having people dealing through this? And so I think one of the things that you have to do is you really have to stop and realize when people are off task. And that means walking around, talking to people weekly at minimum and engaging with them. If you see something that is out of sorts, hey, they're usually turning in these reports and they're not now, asking the question, hey, are you okay? Is everything going well? Is there something that I can take off your plate? Is there something I can do for you? Are you confused about any of this? Where are we? And if you come from a how can I help versus you're really failing here, that goes a long way. And then when they do come for help, stop and have the conversation and say, what can I do to help you? And how can I walk beside you? Those are critical things that we all know, but we don't always think through. And so we need to be very careful when we're taking care of our people and working through that. So all of those are practical sides of being able to help others. It becomes a little more difficult when it happens to you. And so for me, I was always able to process information very quickly. I was always able to handle everything without really having to write a lot down and be able to work through it. When that went away, that was challenging. And it was one that I wasn't prepared for, and I had to completely restructure, and I had to go to a lot of my coworkers and say, hey, here's a challenge I'm having. I'm working on it, but I need you to help. And you're going to have to ask others to help. I had to ask family members to help. I had to ask coworkers to help and really be able to get through. So I think acknowledging where you are is a big deal. And then being able to work and to change the way you do things and the expectations you have on others and to get through. So all of those are difficult processes and difficult ways to work through things. So as a leader, one, take care of yourself. Your physical ability to take care of yourself is probably your first line of effort. So go to the gym, go work out. And it's not about being bigger, faster, stronger. It is about making sure that you are taking care of yourself. If you take care of your body, you're going to take care of your mind. You're going to take care of your spirit. So absolutely make sure you're doing whatever it is that you're going to stay fit and physically active with. Second part, take care of your mind. Never stop reading. And if you're getting so busy that you need to jump on audiobooks or something, have something that is engaging. You have to engage your mind. If you do not engage your mind, you're just going to lose it. And that's a problem. So continually work through, find things. You have a very limited resource. Think about this. And my boss told me about this. If you read one book a month, that's 12 books a year. And in your prime learning, you're probably going to go to 65. So let's say that's 50 years of really reading and learning, and 50 times 12. So now you're at 600 books. That's your capacity. Think of all the books in the world, millions, and you're now down to 600. Find the great books. Don't find the good books. Find the great books. Find the things that are going to help you, that you're interested in. Be selfishly selective on the things, but don't waste your time. Read, listen, find those things out. Listen to your podcast. Get to the point where you can become an expert at what you're doing. Keep engaged mentally. And the last part is spiritually. And this is such a big part of life, and we can get so locked into being so busy. Don't ever forget about what's most important in your life. Don't ever forget about what's most important. And if it's your job, I will challenge you on that. And I will say that's probably not the most important. It may be what produces money or abilities for the most important part, but it's probably not the most important part. And I say that because I spend a lot of time working with Morae Classical Schools. It's a great organization. It works for military families to help them in their incredibly difficult life. But if I spent all my time on Morae, I might forget the actual most important thing are the people and in the families, the military families, and my family. And so if I forget what's most important, and spiritually, if I forget what's most important, then I'm dropping the ball and I'm missing out on a lot. So physical, mental, and spiritual focus for the mental health. Being a leader is difficult. It is challenging. Making sure that you're doing everything you can to work through that is key. So, all right, I am super excited for this year. 2024 is going to be amazing. We're going to have some great conversations. I've already got a lot of those lined up, and I'm interested to learn. I'm interested to see. I've got some other podcasts that I'm working with to have them on here, and I'm going to be on there. So again, it's going to be a great year. I hope that you are ready for 2024. I hope that you're excited about it. I hope that you are continuously learning and challenging yourselves. Take care of yourselves. That doesn't mean take time off. That means focused attention. Some of that will be time off, but focused attention on yourself and others. So again, thanks so much for being here. Don't forget, hit that like if you haven't done it. Hit that subscribe. We'll catch you next time. And this is TUC0's Wright checking on.